welcome back to our teen summer reading program challenges. This week we are making Zen gardens, and Zen gardens are this beautiful Japanese tradition where you build an area out of sand and natural features, and you use it as a form of meditation, making use of all of the things that you had available around you. It was a dry garden in that there were no plants to water and nothing growing, but beautiful all the same. And so this week's challenge is to design and build a model Zen garden, a small one, right? The garden should contain a sandbox and a rake, and then you should have natural features that you can put throughout. So for this week, I have a bag of craft sticks, which should also contain a few toothpicks. There we go. So, craft sticks, toothpicks. I have aluminum foil, and the aluminum foil is of course non-traditional, but it will help keep your sand in the box and not all over the place. And then of course we have sand and my bag of natural features, and my glue is off to the side. So step one is going to be to design the garden, and my garden is going to be a very shallow box. I'm going to try my best to make it a square, but it does need the sides to be slightly elevated so that the sand doesn't just go everywhere. And then on the inside will be sand, and then I'll have rocks and things throughout. So, drafting it. How many sticks do I have? Perfect. So if my goal is to make it a square, my first question needs to be how many sticks will need to be the base to make that square, so I can include my number of sticks in my draft. And I'm hoping let's see. Oh, almost. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have about 11 sticks to make a square. And then I'm going to build up on the sides so that it is a shallow box. So that's going to be the bottom. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sticks for the base. And then each side is going to get 1 stick. So step 1 is going to be to build the square. Step 2 is going to be to build the sides. Step 3 is going to be to line the garden. And that's what the foil is for, right? I'm just lining the base of it so that you don't just have sand falling through the cracks. And then I'm going to build the rake. Oh, and I guess I should include that step 5 is to decorate, which is what your natural features are for. And you may have shells, you may have rocks, you may have other things, but these are going to be my general steps. So the other thing that you should have in your bag is a wooden dowel. And you can use this if you want to build your rake. This is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to need at least one craft stick and the toothpick. So I'll set those aside for now. And I'm going to start building my square. So again, I need my 11 craft sticks. There we go, since I already measured these out. And I'm going to start gluing these together, and I will be right back. So here's my square. I have the 11 craft sticks that I had planned. And so my next decision needs to be if I'm going to build the sides here or up. But I think if I build them down, even though that is the smallest amount, since craft sticks are very thin, I'm still going to lose just enough depth that I'm going to worry my sand is going to spill over. So I'm going to build them up on the sides. That should be good, all 4. Okay, and then the other thing that I did here is I took my piece of aluminum foil and cut it down to the size of my square. I have a really rough trace on it. And so my next 2 steps are going to be to glue the sides of my box up on the side and to line the garden. So next I'm going to put on the sides, and then I'm going to glue down my lining just so that none of my sand starts, or I guess I should say as little as my sand as possible, starts falling out of the box. And so those are my next 2 steps, and then I'm going to build my rake. So I will be right back. Okay, so here's my box, and I will say that the sticks that I have on the inside did not fit. So if you notice here on the side, I had to trim off the ends just slightly. And it made me think about my rake. I maybe didn't need to rake the sides of the box, so I did end up trimming the craft stick that I'm going to use as my rake. And I think what I'm going to do is glue this down so they're flat here, and then glue the edges of my toothpick onto the rake so that it has little prongs, or what you would call it. There we go. That'll look kind of like a rake. Teeth. There we go. So it has teeth. And you might notice, hopefully, today's project is a little bit easier. I did want some variety this summer with some projects that were pretty challenging and some that were relaxing. And Zen Gardens were about meditation. So when you're done with your Zen garden, you can draw in it. That's what your rake is for. And really just relax as you're playing with it. So my next step was going to be to line it with foil, just really lightly in the bottom, and then we'll come back and I'll make sure that my rake idea is going to work, and I'll be right back. Yay! Perfect. So I have foil in the bottom, and you can't see it, but it will make it so that when I pour in my sand, there we go. When I pour in my sand, it stays in the box. Oh, this is pretty. Perfect. Okay, so, oops, I am gonna push it just all the way around. There you go, so you can't see the foil at all. So my next step is going to be my rake. And I might actually make this, and I have a pair of scissors right here, I might actually make this just a little bit smaller. There you go. Because the box is small, so having this big old giant rake doesn't help me a ton. And I can give it lots of teeth, or I can just give it a few. And I think in this instance, I'm just gonna give it a couple. I'll probably stick to 3. I had cut my toothpicks in half, so I could have done up to 6. But I think 3 is gonna be a better option. And they're just going to be as evenly spaced as I can. There you go. On my rake. And then, of course, the craft stick part will be glued to the dowel. And we are almost done. And here's my rake. You notice that I didn't glue everything off at the end as if I was going to write with a pencil, right? I wanted to be able to draw in the sand and really just breathe and relax while I'm doing it. That is what your rake is for, is to be able to draw. Traditionally, you would do circles and spirals and labyrinths and things of that nature. Be careful that you don't fill so much sand in your box that every time you push it, you're gonna knock it over. And then, so we built the square, we built the sides, we lined the gardens. I have a rake, and so the last step is to decorate. And I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. There we go. I have 6 rocks and a shell. And I kind of, yeah, I think I'm going to glue mine, and I'll have to glue it down tall, and maybe set them in a corner. So I just have this pretty stack of rocks in one of my corners. And the seashell might lean on the side, maybe in the back. I will think about that. But 7. 7 is a traditional number in this instance. You can decorate them however you want. If you want them, like if I wanted them in size order, and I could have one side be, let's see which one's bigger. There we go. One side be rocks. That's really pretty too. Perfect. And give me 1 second and we can see the finished product. Yay, so let me clean up my box really quickly before I place these down. I think I want, there we go, this kind of zigzag on mine. Perfect. And here are my features. I stacked all 7 of them tall, and I'm gonna set them right in the corner. And this is my Zen garden. Have a great week.